Good morning, everybody. So, just so you guys can see, what I'm doing here is actually installing a radio system inside of a truck. Now, these are ground radios, so these radios are very particular. As you can see, we got uh, all kinds of equipment inside there and wiring, but this is for ground radio systems. So, if you look right above, I got some external mag mount uh, antennas, which is this cable and this cable right here. And the purpose of this is for being able to communicate on the runways and out in the airports. Anyway, we're installing this. This is all the equipment that I'm using. And right now, as you can see, I'm going to be putting this connector onto this. Now this wire right here is actually braided, so I had to twist that up real good and pull back any of the fibers here just to make sure that they don't come in contact with this cable here or the center conductor. We don't want to create a short, but anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to show you guys how we do it, and switch the camera right now and let you guys see exactly how it's done. One, to here, keeping in mind that you have to be very careful that this cable here does not touch the inside of this, because it's going to cause a short. So that's why I have my fluke tester here, just to make sure that it's not shorted once I'm done connecting it. The other thing is, you got to put on the crimp casing to this right here. So that's going to be used to crimp over this part, as you can see, this part of the actual connector, and so that it won't come off. And on the front of this, we're going to put a little drop of solder right onto the tip, just so that, you know, it kind of stays solid and consistent, and we don't have that wire in the inside floating around. So just take a look. If you have any questions, you know, just leave a comment below. Definitely, if you are feeling up to it, subscribe. There's going to be plenty more videos to come. Not only do I do carpentry and construction within my home and other people's homes, but I also work with electronics. That's actually my biggest background, along with construction. Anyway, let's continue. So, going to slide this cable right through this ferrule. You kind of want to let it do its own thing, because if you force it, you can have a problem. Then you take this portion here and you just slide it up, and what you'll find is that all of these braids will fold up with it and actually go over the end piece of the connector. Now the reason why you want that is because it provides a ground. Put that right over it, as you can see, and you shouldn't see it anymore. Now, before I actually, so now that I have that on and in place, what I want to do is I want to test and make sure that there's not a short on this. So I'm going to take my tester and I'm going to touch the outside of this and then the inside of this, which is actually the male portion of this connector, and I'm going to touch both leads on that. So let me show you how this works. And you have your fluke meter. What you're going to do is you're going to set it to ohms. Okay, that should be a little horseshoe looking thing there. Now put it for sound. Okay, if you hear a sound, you know that you have a short. See that? So when I touch these two together, I don't want to hear that sound. So let's see what we got. See, that's not good. I'm actually getting a short. And it's good to test it first before you actually crimp it down and make sure that there's nothing going wrong. So now I have to investigate this and figure out what's going on. So what I'm going to do is pull this off. Okay. Something's going on in here that's touching that should not be touching. So I'm going to pull back all of these fibers again. Now remind you that these fibers, if any of these little fibers are touching the center conductor here, that can potentially cause a short. Sometimes all it takes is just a little twist of this and it can straighten out the problem. I'm going to retry it again. It's kind of tedious work, but this is just how it is sometimes, and you really can't avoid it. Alright, so I've already put it right back together again. I'm going to put these fibers right there where they belong. Actually, this time I'm going to cut off the excess because the wiring actually comes out the front of the ferrule here. So I'm going to cut this off. Okay. Now I have a flush cut. And eventually I'll throw a little bit of solder on that. So let's try it again. Here we have our, okay, we know that it's working. So let's try it now. There we go, nothing. Which means that we're in good shape. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna solder this thing, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So here we have a portable soldering iron. Now these things are really cool. I really like them. They're easy to use. You can fill the butane right here at the bottom, and it has a little opening here, and you can see how much fluid you have in there. Very easy to use. All you do is flip this side up. It's already releasing the gas, and this one lights it. Just click it until you kind of like, you're going to start seeing a little red light there, and that's basically the heat starting. And as you can probably see, it's starting to get red. There we go. And that's what's going to now give me the opportunity to drop a little bit of solder right onto this. Now remember, when you're doing any type of soldering, you don't want to overdo it. Once you overdo it, you've kind of pretty much screwed up the whole thing. So you want to, then you're gonna have to like reheat it and suck out the excess solder, things like that. So you just want to put a little bit on top of it. In most cases, that's all you need to connect a cable to a connector, or or do any type of soldering. Let's say on a board, like a motherboard or something like that, or a control board, whatever it may be. So you want to just drop a little bit of solder right on the actual iron itself. Now I'm just going to drop a little bit of solder right on the tip. The good thing is that if you ever overdo it, like the tip of this, what you can do is you can sand it off. So you probably can't see this, but this connector, I already finished it. I put the little bit of solder on the tip of it, but sometimes, you know, you may have a little bit of solder that drips over, or maybe a little bit too much on the top. Now remember that this has to go inside of the actual back of the radio. So I'm just going to take this little file. It's very slim. It actually comes in a case like this, full of little files. I'm going to use it. I'm just going to take a little brush to it, just make sure that there's no excess solder on it, because that can cause a problem internally for the connection on the radio. It could even cause a problem with you just putting the actual connector on. So I want to make sure that that is good. We don't have no issues there. See, like I found a drip spot here that I didn't even realize happened. So we want to get rid of that. Because if not, we're going to have a problem connecting this. And then we'll be fighting all day looking for the issue. And that's why it's very important to inspect your work before you finish. Very good to do this. It's a good practice to make sure that your connectors are done properly, because in the long run it's going to prevent you from having to So this is the same as anything else. Long as it's clean and it's been filed down properly, it's going to be ready for radio connection. So what we're going to do is it's going to go in the back of this radio, as you can see, right into this connection right here. All right. And once it's all done, I'm going to show you guys exactly how the console will look, and once it's all connected, and you guys can see just how clean and how well it's put together, so that you get an idea of what the radios actually look like and how they function. So what's up, guys? Just back again. I wanted to show you guys the end result so you guys can see exactly what everything looks like. And this is everything that's been connected. Screws still have to be put in place, but now you know exactly how everything is going to look. These are the radios. This is a PA radio, and that's basically everything that was put in place. And these two radios are the ones that were needed for those connections that I made. So those are the ones that require an antenna. So just wanted you guys to see end result, man. Hope you guys like it. Like I said, you know, drop a like, drop a comment. Hopefully you subscribe, and we'll see you soon on the next project.